Okay guys, magre-react lang po tayo rito sa video na ito. Ano sa palagay nyo, nandito po tayo sa ating channel. Ano sa palagay nyo? Ako po ay nagagalak na makasama kayo dito sa ating channel. Ano sa palagay ninyo? Tayo po ay magkwekwentuhan lang, mag-uusap. O ito, bibigyan lang natin reaction nito, yung interview. Sa makikita natin to, pwede niyong panoorin, pero magre-react lang po tayo ng kahit konti ano. Sabi rito, the early church did not worship. Ayun, medyo ano to, medyo controversial to, ano. So, yung si Tom Wadsworth, ano, ito interview. Tingnan po natin guys, ano, panoorin po natin ng konti, then bibigay po tayo ng ilang mga bagay-bagay dito sa sa isa't. Pakinggan po natin bago tayo ah, hindi mapalagay.
Really excited today. Very interesting guest, very exciting guest. I've been wanting to have him on for the last several weeks or months since I've discovered his videos. And our guest today is Tom Wadsworth. He's recently been making waves, as you could say, in the Christian community, which is easy to do at times. His recent YouTube videos on why the early church did not have worship services have had almost 500,000 views, 70 countries, really making an impact. Now, he has 40 years of research and study, and his doctoral research into Christian assemblies in the first century was a primary focus. He's a professional speaker, writer, biblical scholar, 2 master's degrees, and a PhD, all in the New Testament. It's going to be a really interesting video today. Super excited to bring on Dr.
So yung guest speaker niya, yung mga kasama niya dito sa pagtalakay dito ay yung tungkol sa early church did not worship. Isang PhD, ano, doctorate. So, ibig sabihin talagang may malalim na ginawang pag-aaral patungkol dito. Kaya hopefully ay pakinggan po natin, tingnan po natin, ano. Rating ko, ito po ay alam ko magiging controversial ito. Kasi nga, tinutukoy niya na walang pagsamba. Walang pagsamba doon sa early church. Okay, tuloy natin.
Dr. Wadsworth. Thank you for joining us.
Wadsworth.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler. I'm glad to be with you, and also encouraged by the church situation you've got there in the Tampa area.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, we're extremely blessed. We're honestly, your work and gentlemen like you who are doing work like you're doing is really encouraging. Not to go too deep too quick, but I think a lot of guys my age who are in the ministry, who maybe haven't drunk the Kool-Aid of the megachurch movement yet, or maybe did it and then were disillusioned by it, are really searching for something pure, something true.
So actually, kung titingnan po natin yung kanyang yung pa lang sa kanyang title, The Early Church That Worship, alam ko yung iba sa atin ay hindi na may encourage. Lalo na yung ating mga simbahan ay punong-puno ng worship, o yung pananambahan. So, medyo na tayo rito kagad. Maaaring imbis na ma-encourage tayo, ay ma-discourage po tayo. So, hopefully, pakinggan lang po natin. Tuloy po natin, guys.
Something authentic, something that works, and your work has been incredible for that. So, on that subject, would you just sort of introduce us maybe to your thesis? I know we're going to probably touch a bunch of different topics today. Introduce our audience to your work, your thesis, maybe some of those videos that kind of went viral, and we'll go from there.
Well, I think it's the title of the first video of my series of 7 that has attracted the most attention, and the title is this: Why the Early Church Didn't Have Worship Services. And those are fighting words for some folks, and indeed I've made a good number of people quite upset. But my research basically began while I was preaching in 1977
Oh my goodness.
through 1 Corinthians. And I came to chapter 14, which talks at length. It is the longest chapter in the Bible that discusses the Christian assembly, and yet it's tended to be forgotten or ignored or not really even mentioned or utilized, because there's rich material in this chapter, which I didn't know at the time. And I was tempted to skip over the chapter since it talks about speaking in tongues. And since our church didn't do that, I thought we might not do that. But I stuck with it. And I noticed in 1 Corinthians chapter 14, a particular Greek word pops up 7 times, the word oikodome, which means edification, to build up one another. And Paul is basically saying that no matter what you do in the Christian assembly, make sure it is to build up one another.
So, tingnan po niyo yon, ano? Ako, tinignan ko na yon. Yung sinasabi niya, yung oikodomeo, o yung to build up or to edify. Ilang beses nga binanggit niya na yon ni Pablo dun sa tinatawag nilang mga gathering nila o sa assembly nila. Yung salitang oikos. Kasi galing yun sa salitang oikos, oikodomeo, galing yun sa salitang household, yung oikos kasi household, So, you can do your own research about this. Tingnan po natin yung Greek word na ginamit kasi doon. At ilang beses na nabanggit ni Pablo talaga ang mga tiga-Corinto. At ito ay patungkol sa kanilang assembly o gathering. Okay guys, tuloy po natin.
In verse 26, he comes to this big conclusion of his argument there. He says, "What then, brethren, when you come together?" And he lists some things that people or different things you can do. "But let all things," he says, "be done for edification," oikodome, the same Greek word again. Hits it again there at this big conclusion point. The thing that hit me when I was reading this chapter was
If you're a father who's been
looking up the word worship to see when and how it is used in a Christian assembly. And the short answer there is, it isn't. Worship language
O yun nga, talagang mapapatanong ka, ito po ay muli kong balikan at pag-aralan. At tignan ulit, saliksikin, siyempre mapapatanong ka, oo nga. Nasaan yung salitang worship dito, Pablo? Mukhang wala ka namang binabanggit tungkol sa pagsamba, kundi because ang madalas mong binabanggit dito ay build up, or edifying, or strengthening. Yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Kaya talagang talagang mapapasaliksik ka ulit dito sa salita ng Panginoon, sa salita ng Diyos. So, tandaan po natin, ito yung kanyang thesis, thesis na ginawa ng taong ito, ng mamang ito, na tingnan natin, kasi thesis niya ito, dissertation niya ito, na at doon ay nagkaroon siya ng PhD sa kanyang dissertation, na nag-ano siya tungkol sa assembly, the early church assembly or gathering. Okay, tuloy natin.
does not appear in the context of early Christian gatherings. To put it a different way, our worship language that we have so extensively in our culture today is foreign to the New Testament Christianity. We talk about going to worship on Sunday. We talk about having our houses of worship. We have an order of worship. We often have a worship band and a worship pastor, and we have praise and worship time. And then we open worship with this. And then when we're done, we close worship with that. All this language is foreign to the New Testament. Their understanding of what they were doing when they got together is substantially different than our understanding of what we do when we get together. Now, nothing of what I just said means that the early Christians didn't sing to God. They did. It doesn't mean that they didn't pray to God. They did. But Paul explicitly states that even our prayers and our songs are intended to build up one another. They are to be done for edification, for the building up of the body. So 40 years later, I decided to take my conclusions into a PhD doctoral program at Theological Seminary in Kansas City, and to see if these ideas hold up. And they do. There's much more to this study because I've literally gone deep into understanding worship terminology in both Greek and Hebrew, as well as in our modern construct. But I've also gone into second century literature, third century, fourth century literature to try to figure out.
So, yung binabanggit niyang ibig sabihin niya na wala namang worship din sa early church, hindi naman ibig sabihin na yung mga early believer ay hindi kumakanta o hindi daw sila nananalangin. Kundi mostly, yung kanilang pagkanta ay, yung kanta nila ay to edify one another. Yung kailang prayer ay to edify one another. So, kung mapapansin nyo, yung kanyang dissertation na ito ay yung thesis na ginawa niya, nakadiretso lang doon, pati sa ano talaga ang ibig sabihin ng salitang worship. So, talagang inano niya, nilaliman niya ang pag-aaral na ito. Kasi nga, iba yung modern day ngayon na tinatawag natin na assembly, yung ngayon sa kapanahonan natin talaga, ay ibang-iba talaga yung sa ngayon na sa 2025 na ating ginagawa na assembly or gathering. So guys, tuloy lang po natin, guys.
How worship sermons or worship services developed and how that
Right.
concept got going. So anyway, that's the short answer to what I'm all about and where it came from.
No, that's great. I mean, and obviously there's a lot to unpack there. Now, like I said at the top of the show, it is actually fairly easy to make waves in the Christian community. One thing we realize as Christians is we do not like change. And so some of the stuff you're saying can be extremely jarring for our audience. I think maybe it's important to maybe just open up some of those terms. So in evangelical America, we see the word worship and the concept of singing songs as one and the same. Is that what's happening in the New Testament when they're saying worship or and all that sort of stuff? Does it mean a singing of songs like when Paul's talking, teach each other edification? But even that, it's the teaching in psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. What have you found, in your research as far as like the word worship tying to the singing of songs?
Yeah, the answer is no. The biblical concept of worship does not include singing songs.
Right.
And what I did there's 5 different Greek words that are translated as worship, which tends to make the matter very complicated. But I had to do this for a doctoral dissertation. I looked up every time each one of these words is found, not just in the New Testament in Greek, but I also went into the Old Testament, in the Septuagint, which the early Christian writers of the
So, may binabanggit siya na yung salitang worship ay mayroon limang word yun. Sa Hebrew, saka sa Greek. So, yun yung kanyang pinag-aralan ng gusto. Yung sa worship ay hindi doon walang patungkol sa tinatawag nating singing o pagkanta. Ituloy po natin, guys.
The New Testament would have been very familiar with the Septuagint and the use of these terms.
Right.
And we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of references, and I studied each one of them in great detail, not only in Greek, but also in Hebrew in the Old Testament. Say all that to say this. None of these terms refers to singing songs.
Interesting.
None of them ever. But we do that. We
Right.
connect those two, but that's our English word worship really doesn't mean what the word worship means when you read it in your New Testament. That also makes the issue rather complicated.
Maybe this is a little off topic, or you didn't do this research, but when did that correlation happen for the modern Christian, that we think of
Guys, dito naman natin tatapusin yung ating reaction nito. Ano sa palagay nyo? Gagawa pa ho tayo ng marami pang reaksyon dito sa ano nito, sa mamang nito na yung kanyang dissertation o yung malalim na pagre-research sa pag-aaral dito sa assembly o sa gathering ng New Testament Church, ano. So yung kanyang ginawang research ay yun sa first 100 years ng mga disciple sa kanilang gathering o yung kanilang pagsasama-sama bilang magkakapatid sa Panginoon. So guys, kung meron kayong mga opinion, sabihin niyo lang po dito sa ating ano sa palagay nyo dito po sa ating channel. Mag-comment po kayo at kung sa tingin nyo ano po yung mga issue na gusto nyo talakayin natin. Lalong-lalo na sa kapanahon ng ito, naniniwala ko na ito pong ating talakayan o pagbibigay ng pahayag o anuman bagay ay makakatulong po sa atin, lalo na sa ating pamumuhay bilang mga Kristiyano, So guys, thank you for watching at don't forget to subscribe nga pala sa ating channel dito sa Ano sa Palagay Nyo. Ano sa Palagay Nyo. Hopefully ay makatulong po ito. But do your own research. Gumawa po kayo ng sarili nyong pag-aaral sa lahat ng bagay na ito. Lalo na sa pagkakataong ito na narinig po natin. Gumawa po tayo ng pag-aaral sa saliksik. Okay guys, thank you for watching. Again, don't forget to subscribe. Salamat po sa inyong pakikinig.